How much force feedback is too much force feedback? How little force feedback is too little force feedback? I'm going to explain to you my opinion on what it is. I've been sim racing for many years now, so if this video could help just one person skip all the trouble I've had of trying to experience the highs and lows of all this stuff, that'd be great. So I'm going to be using iRacing as an example here, but this works for pretty much any simulator. In general, it's important to have correct force feedback because your wheel is talking to you. I don't want to get too much into this, but it's not just for you to input into. Similar enough to a car, it is talking to you. And especially in sim racing, you really need to listen to your steering wheel. Imagine it like a conversation where you're listening to it and it's listening to you. In sim racing, when we drive, we turn into a corner. The wheel tells us what's going on, and then we make adjustments as necessary. If the wheel is telling us, hey, you're going too slow, you can actually turn more, we turn more, and we remember next lap we'll arrive harder, faster into the corner. That way, once we arrive there, our wheel is telling us, you cannot turn more, you're at the limit. So we needed to know when we're at the limit, that way we can be going as fast as possible in the car. If it's too light, we're not going to feel any of that. It's going to be super light in our hands and we're just going to end up oversteering into corners, literally overturning the wheel because we don't know where that limit is of the front tires and we're only going to crash into a wall. Likewise, if the wheel is too strong, you're not going to be able to control it properly and it's just going to be way too stiff, not nice, not a fun experience, and very hard to be consistent. So even if you do manage to do a fast lap once with it, are you going to be able to do that in a 20, 30, 40, an hour long race? Probably not. So the key point is, remember it like a conversation. You're talking to your wheel and your wheel is talking to you. Arguably, the information coming from your wheel is like more important. So in a conversation, if one person ever needs to stop talking, it truly is you. Your wheel you always listen to. And also with your hands, whilst you're holding the wheel, you want to have your hands in a position, not death gripping it super hard, because if you're holding your wheel super hard, well, you're just going to deaden out all those little minute feelings that the wheel is trying to talk to you. It's like talking to someone, but you have your hand over their mouth and they're just like, and then you take the hand off and it's like, you're going to crash into this corner if you turn anymore, you know what I mean? You need to be listening to your wheel. You're not listening with your ears. Obviously, in this case, you're listening with your hands. So listen carefully. Don't be death gripping the wheel. Don't be holding it too light. Find a consistent way to hold your wheel. And that really means in the mid corner as well. So let's hop out here and have a little look just so you guys know what I mean by the difference between too much and too little. And then I'm going to show you how you can set it up properly, or how I like to set it up properly in iRacing. But this is good for all simulators too. So in iRacing, when you turn into a corner, the wheel gets heavy. That's simulating, you know, the car's loading up. If we turn too much, it gets light, simulating understeer or oversteer. Now, it's the most important part to be listening to the wheel is actually the most tense parts on the circuit is when we're in a corner. When we're in a corner is when we're asking for the most rotation from a car. We're asking it to do the most. So it's right about now. We want our hands to be listening. So just remember, don't fall for the trap of being mid-corner, the car feels slidey, I'm going to start death gripping the wheel. This corner, for example, up here on turn 1 with cold tires can be very, very tricky. It's especially important on a corner like this to be listening to the car and holding onto your wheel super, super light. Listening to what's going on. So let's have a look at what too strong force feedback looks like. We're going to crank this up really, really high. Let's say 26 Newton meters. And that's probably going to cause some clipping. So my wheelbase is an 18 Newton meter wheelbase, and we're getting close to the clipping range. Now, I will say it's kind of enjoyable to use, and it feels like the car's on rails. I'll give it to it. It feels nice on the surface, but this isn't replicable. If a car comes up alongside me, there's no way that we're both making it out alive. Coming into a corner up here, this is like a jump where I got to skim a curb and really listen to the car, and the wheel is just going to go absolutely mad. And that's not right. It's too strong. It's fighting me. Remember what we said about a conversation? That's all gone out the window. I'm fighting my wheel and it's like an arm wrestling match. Who's stronger? We don't like that. Again, if we lower our force feedback down all the way, let's say to something ridiculous like this. Okay, my force feedback is pretty dull. There's a little bit, as you can see from the F counter up in the top right. But when I turn into a corner, it's going to be very hard for me to judge where the maximum point is. And in cars, they like to steer themselves. So when I leave a corner, you're meant to lighten your hands and let the car do what it wants to do. Cars are amazing at straightening themselves, but with not enough force feedback, it's just the wheel is just in a world of its own, and the car, you can't even feel the straightening of the car. So you definitely do not want a wheel that's too light. If you find yourself turning into a corner and you said, oh no, I turned in too much that time, by accident, probably your force feedback is a little bit too light. If you find yourself turning into a corner and you go, oh, there's too much to turn, that's probably a sign that your wheel is too heavy. Now, let me show you a very quick way to find the Goldilocks zone when it comes to force feedback, especially in iRacing. So coming into the settings here, we're going to come up to options and we're going to have a look here. Now, once our force feedback is set, we're going to set it at the wheel force. So that's how many Newton meters my wheelbase can make. And then the intensity, we're going to set at 60%. This number you can find by yourself. So let's say my wheelbase has 18 Newton meters to offer. If I set it to 60%, when I press the auto button, it's going to give me 60% of that. So I'm going to show you how that works now. So now I'm using 56, which is basically the auto button minus 1 click. So I've made it a tiny bit lighter. And to be honest, for me, this is absolutely perfect. It means I can fly over curbs, do what I need to do. I can listen to what's going on with the car whilst holding the wheel kind of light, but it's heavy enough that I don't accidentally turn in more than is necessary in a corner. Truly is the Goldilocks zone. Very hard to explain what a nice temperature of tea tastes like. So this video is really just a gentle reminder out there, or maybe some new information for new drivers coming into sim racing, that force feedback really is a medium of just you talking and it's talking too, and you're both listening to each other. And when you get that in perfect harmony, your steering is going to be very good. You're going to be listening out for things, you're going to be hearing different things about the car. That way, when you come around next lap and you notice on a certain corner there's a bit of an issue, you can fix that before it comes. Then you listen for it, it doesn't come, and you know you and your car are in complete harmony. You need to be in harmony with your car, and the way you're going to do that, at least through the steering wheel, is by listening to the force feedback and letting it listen to you. And that's all done through the hands and through properly set force feedback. Hopefully this video is useful for you. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. Most of the videos around here are like that. We're a bunch of average racers just trying to get a little bit quicker, and on some days we shine. So thanks so much for watching the videos, and if you have any tips down below for people regarding force feedback, put them down below, because hell, I could do with some learning too. We're always learning on this journey, and that is one of the coolest things about sim racing. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.